A lot of MPs have been embroiled in this sleaze. How do you think you're different from that?
I think I'm different because I'll be standing on the position that I'll only be accepting the average wage of a worker in Stoke-on-Trent, and any expenses that I do claim I'll publish for the public to see.
Yeah, so how do you think you'd use that in Parliament then? How can you sort of prove that or back it up at all?
Well, if you look in the past, Dave Nellist back in the 80s and the 90s only took the average wage of a worker from where he lived in Coventry, and I think if I got elected on that position, we could use that and set an example to all the other MPs, show that you don't need £65,000 a year and £100,000 expenses account in order to survive. I've survived on less than £15,000 for all my life. I don't think that sort of money is really necessary, to be honest.
So, I mean, the main three parties obviously want to cut public spending after the next election. How are you different to that? Do you think you're going to be taking the same line?
I'd take the totally opposite view, to be honest. I think that any public spending cuts should be pulling out of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan and stopping the funding of nuclear weapons. I think we should also start to increase the tax for the richest 1% who managed to get away with billions of pounds a year leaving this country not being taxed. I think that alone would help reduce any deficit that we have. Also, as an MP, I'd be helping to support any worker that took action to help save their jobs, basically. If anybody went out on strike or was forced to take action to save their jobs, I'd be a voice for them in Parliament. I think at the moment it's pretty disgusting how you've got Gordon Brown calling the strike at British Airways disgusting. I think any sort of Prime Minister or anybody who's elected to represent people should be encouraging and supporting people to defend their jobs.
So with whoever wins the next election going to make savage cuts, do you think, what do you think the future's like for young people?
I think the future for young people at the moment is absolutely dire. We've got the danger of a lost generation of young people coming out of university and college with no prospect of a job whatsoever and going straight onto the dole queue. I think where we're different, we'd make sure that there are jobs available for young people when they leave college and university. We do this from any money that we saved from pulling out of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and stop funding the nuclear weapons and the tax programmes for the real high earners. And also, while people are at university and college, I think we should be campaigning for a living wage for them or a living grant while they're at university. Because at the moment I'm a student nurse myself. A lot of student nurses only receive £600 a month to live on, which is, it's just peanuts, to be honest. Not a lot of people can live on that. What we really need is a living wage or a living grant for them to live on, so that people don't have to do extra work on top of what they already do at university just to survive. We were out in Hanley this weekend and we were asking ordinary working class people what they thought about MPs' wages and MPs' expenses and what they thought about the idea of an MP accepting the average wage of a worker from Stoke-on-Trent. What do you think about how much MPs get paid? They get paid £65,000 a year and you've got an expenses account of £100,000. What do you think about that?
It's ridiculous, really. It's just not necessary. Why can't they do it for the average wage like we all?
Okay. And what do you think about an MP who only took the wage of the average wage of people in Stoke-on-Trent?
I think he'd appeal more to everyone, the masses really, who'd have a lot more respect than the MPs do now.
Okay, and what do you think about how much MPs are getting paid?
What do I think? Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. I mean, like I said, if we had their money,
And what do you you think about the idea that MPs should only be receiving the average wage of the people that they represent?
Minimum wage. Minimum wage, I'm on for it. So let them see if they can pay the rent, food, the children and everything else. Okay, sweetheart.
Thank you.
I'm not very photogenic, honey.
Oh, that's a lovely smile.
Yeah.